Hello Moto GP fans, welcome back to ZNGP today. It may have been a podium finish for Marc Márquez at the British Grand Prix, but the man himself was in no mood to celebrate. After a chaotic Sunday that included a red flag, restarts, and windswept laps, Márquez's brutally honest self-assessment painted a picture of frustration, tension, and hard-earned survival. While the third-place finish looked solid on paper, the Ducati rider admitted it was a day filled with mistakes, some of which could have cost him everything. The British Grand Prix marked another low point in what has become an increasingly frustrating season for Pecco Bagnaia. Despite a promising start, the Ducati factory rider ended his Sunday in the gravel, empty-handed and disillusioned. As technical limitations of the GP25 continued to surface, Bagnaia didn't mince words about the issues plaguing his bike, or his admiration for those managing to outperform on the same machinery. His post-race reflections revealed both resignation and quiet determination. Aprilia made headlines at Silverstone not just for their on-track success, but for the clear off-track message it sent to one rider in particular, Jorge Martin. Marco Bezzecchi's emphatic victory aboard the RSGP wasn't just his personal milestone. It was a public statement of Aprilia's competitiveness at a time when Martin's future with the team remains uncertain. For CEO Massimo Rivola, Bezzecchi's performance is proof that the bike and the project are ready to fight at the front. Yamaha's Fabio Quartararo walked away from the Silverstone Grand Prix with mixed emotions. A powerful ride that could have been a podium, if not more, was undone by mechanical misfortune. Despite that, the Frenchman declared it his best feeling on the bike in a long time. A stuck rear height device cost him dearly, but his pace, aggression, and mindset hinted at a rider rediscovering his edge. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Marc Márquez's race almost ended before it began. A crash at the first start left him out of contention until a red flag, caused by an incident involving Franco Morbidelli and Alex Espargaro, allowed a full restart. That twist of fate gave Márquez another shot, and he used it to claw his way back into the top three. But he was quick to strip away any illusions of heroics. "Today someone saved us," he admitted, referencing the red flag that brought him back into the race. Instead of soaking in the applause, Márquez acknowledged his early mistake and focused on the bigger concern: how often he's flirting with disaster. As the race restarted, Márquez faced another opponent beyond his fellow riders: the wind. Silverstone's sweeping layout is always a challenge, but Sunday's conditions made it worse. The tension built as he struggled to find front-end grip and composure, corner after corner. With each gust, his confidence slipped. "In the second race, I was very tense. I had no feeling with the front end. I knew any gust could knock me off my feet," he explained. What began as a race to recover became a battle to survive, and the burden of that instability left him visibly frustrated post-race. Márquez has been no stranger to aggressive saves or bold risk-taking, but this time, he saw those instincts come at a cost. Running off track, losing an 8/10 gap in a single lap. These were not just racing errors. They were reminders of habits he knows he must break. "I made another mistake when I had 8/10 of a second ahead of them in one lap. It always happens in the same places. I have to control that feeling." His exchange with former teammate Dani Pedrosa turned reflective, revealing a rider who no longer sees podiums as the only barometer of success. Consistency and clarity matter just as much now. Even in the midst of his own scrutiny, Márquez took a moment to recognize someone else's effort. Yamaha's Fabio Quartararo, who was leading before a technical issue struck, earned unexpected praise. On a weekend where factory Yamahas and Hondas struggled for pace, seeing one of each on the podium was, in Márquez's eyes, proof that progress is possible from unlikely places. "For me, the rider of the day was Quartararo. He was winning and had a technical problem." His words were a rare show of camaraderie, a nod from one fighter to another who knows the sting of watching a strong race unravel. Marc Márquez may have stood on the podium at Silverstone, but the man who stepped up to third place wasn't celebrating. He was reflecting, recalibrating, and refusing to hide behind circumstance. The red flag may have saved his race, but it didn't save him from his own standards. Silverstone revealed once again the delicate balance between brilliance and error, and Marquez knows he walked that tightrope too many times on Sunday. In a season where he leads the championship and carries the weight of Ducati's expectations, he knows there's little room for self-inflicted mistakes, especially when rivals like Alex Marquez and Fabio Quartararo are pushing the limits in their own ways. One salvaged podium won't define his title campaign, but as Marc said himself, "I can't keep depending on that." The work continues. Bagnaia jumped off the line brilliantly, slotting in behind race leader Fabio Quartararo and eyeing an early attack. However, just 2 laps in, contact elsewhere brought out the red flag and reset the field. Determined to pick up where he left off, Bagnaia swapped only his rear tire and hit the restart with renewed focus. "At the first start I felt good, I was behind Fabio. It probably would have been a fight with him until the end. Then the red flag came, we went back out, I just changed the rear tire, and from then on nothing worked," said Bagnaia. From the moment the lights went out, Bagnaia struggled for traction. Every corner exit spun the rear, costing him positions until a crash at turn 7 ended his race prematurely. Frustration mounted as he reflected on a season spent searching for solutions that remain elusive. "In every corner, when I accelerated, I didn't move forward. 2 laps later, I came to turn 7, went wide again, and crashed. Since the beginning of the year, we haven't been able to find a solution." While Bagnaia floundered, Marco Bezzecchi seized the opportunity, powering away to claim his maiden Aprilia victory. Bagnaia was quick to acknowledge his rival's pace, sending a congratulatory message after the sprint and noting Bezzecchi's dominance across the weekend. "Bezzecchi has been strong all weekend. And today he was scary. He was faster than everyone. He managed to break away from the chaos right away." Bagnaia reserved some of his most pointed praise for Marc Márquez, crediting him with masking Ducati's fundamental grip issues. Despite his own struggles, Bagnaia remains confident in his abilities and in the team's efforts to turn the tide. "Marc is incredibly strong because he hides the problems we're having. I know my potential. I give 100%. If that means 6th in the sprint, it's because I've given my all." Silverstone may be behind them, but Ducati's challenges persist. Bagnaia's crash underscores a deeper need for consistency and grip, especially when rivals like Marquez and Bezzecchi are ready to pounce. With the championship on the line, Ducati must unearth answers before the next round or risk watching others exploit their vulnerabilities. After an intense battle through the pack, Marco Bezzecchi emerged victorious at Silverstone, the Italian's first Grand Prix triumph on the RSGP. His comeback drive highlighted both rider tenacity and the chassis superiority in changing conditions. While Quartararo's crash removed one rival, Bezzecchi's pace was undeniable, carving out a 4-second lead by the flag and delivering Aprilia its breakthrough of 2025. "We needed this victory. It's been a tough start, but yesterday and today, with this comeback, it's been fantastic," Massimo Rivola said. Rivola framed the win as vindication for Aprilia's development work. Prior rounds had shown glimpses of speed without podiums. Silverstone combined both. The RSGP's package proved competitive from lights to flag, underscoring that it wasn't a one-off sprint success but a sign of Rio race distance capability. "We like the victory, and it helps us see that if we look at previous races, we had performance but not results. Today we had both." With contract speculation swirling around their young star, Aprilia used its win to reach out to Jorge Martin. Rivola was unequivocal: the factory bike can win, and they want Martin aboard it. A message of support, respect, and open arms, all meant to reassure the Spaniard that Noali remains his home. We have a bike that can win, even with him. We want to win with Jorge and we're waiting for him with open arms. Despite the public encouragement, Rivera acknowledged Martin's difficult season, crashes, bad luck, and mounting pressure. He stressed the importance of empathy, recognizing that such struggles affect riders in ways outsiders can't fully grasp. Aprilia's mission now is to support Martin, both on and off track. When a rider has this lack of luck, we must have the utmost respect for his situation. We'll do everything to make him see that this is where he belongs, concluded. Aprilia's maiden win of 2025 is more than a milestone, it's a manifesto. Bezzecchi's triumph proved the RSGP can deliver, and Rivera's words were a clarion call to Jorge Martin. There's a winning machine and a welcoming team ready to back him. As the paddock shifts its gaze to the next round, Aprilia's message is clear. This is your bike, Jorge. Now let's make it a champion. Quartararo's Sunday began with clarity. From the outset, he ruled out the medium front tire and committed fully to a soft strategy, confident in the grip and control it gave him under braking. With a blistering launch, he seized the lead and immediately built a gap, pushing the Yamaha to its limits in the braking zones to mask its traditional acceleration weakness. I knew the medium wasn't an option. To go fast today I had to brake like hell, and that's what I did from the first lap, Quartararo said. Everything looked under control, until it wasn't. By lap 2, Quartararo had opened up more than a 2-second lead. He was managing front grip while nursing the rear, a delicate balance he seemed to perfect. But a failure in the rear height device undid everything. I never expected to have more than a 2-second lead, but we had that problem with the device that got stuck in the rear, and it was a huge shame because I haven't felt this good in a long time. Despite the gut-wrenching setback, Quartararo found a silver lining in his raw speed and the setup breakthrough achieved with his crew. After a shaky Saturday, they made overnight changes that transformed the bike's balance and feel. His post-race comments blended disappointment with a rekindled belief in the project. Of course it gives me hope, but what happened today is shit. But yes, it gives me hope because we've improved the bike. The failure renewed Quartararo's criticism of MotoGP's height devices, which he says don't belong in the sport. He compared MotoGP's reluctance to F1's stricter stance on questionable technology. If it were Formula 1, they would be banned in the first season. Everyone has one, but it's crazy we have to go to level 7 to get them out. You have to warm up really hard to unlock them, and that can cause falls like Alex's. Quartararo also highlighted how strong winds helped and hindered his riding. While treacherous in some corners, the tailwind aided him in late braking and reduced stopping distance, playing into his aggressive style. It was very strong, very dangerous, but it helps me brake and stop the machine faster because it pushes from behind. Fabio Quartararo didn't take a trophy home from Silverstone, but he may have reclaimed something just as important: confidence. With his pace and feedback pointing to major improvements, the Yamaha rider sees light at the end of a long tunnel. And while height devices and winds stole the spotlight for now, his closing words echoed far louder. I was the fastest today, and that gives me hope. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!